Here's what I wish I knew as a beginner web designer. The first one is I wish I would have spent more time learning sales. Sales is so important as part of your business. I spent all of my time just trying to get really good at web design and Webflow, and that's helping me a lot right now. But the issue is that my business growth started out really slow. And so I guess I don't wish I would have taken time away from getting good at web design and Webflow. I really just wish I would have spent more time on top of that getting good at sales, because I think it really would have helped out some of the painful moments as I tried to grow the business and it was just kind of sluggish from the get-go. The second thing I wish I would have told myself is that not all companies are the same. I was treating a dog breeding business the same as a startup company that just went through their Series B round of funding and they gained $50 million in funding. These are two completely different companies. They have two completely different struggles. The Series B round of funding company probably has a lot more risk involved. There could be potentially 50 plus employees involved. Whereas it's not that the dog breeding business is less important, that it's not about importance. It's about just the struggles that these companies are going through and the solutions that you can solve for them. And so my messaging was the exact same. I'm going to build a website for you. And that probably honestly wasn't even resonating for either of these, maybe in certain scenarios, but I was looking at all companies as the same. And I'm also not trying to say that you need to niche down. That's not even what I'm saying. I think it can be helpful in some scenarios. For example, I work with a lot of startup companies today, but it's more so just about understanding that when a company comes to you, you have to put yourself into their world and you have to speak their language. And if I'm speaking to a dog breeding company and a startup company, my language is going to be completely different to both of those. The next thing I would have told myself is hustle. What comes to mind is like those YouTube motivational videos of like people yelling in your face and just saying a bunch of random hogwash motivational stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I would sit there and just think. I just think like, okay, what should I do here? How should I go about it? What issues could run up? And at some point it's just like, just go do something, right? Even if it's just building stuff for yourself to get better or reading lots of sales books like I was talking about, right? Just go do stuff, go build stuff. I'm also not saying put your clients at risk because you don't know how to do something, right? I do think you should learn how to do something before selling it, and you should know that you're actually good at doing that before selling it, even though, you know, that's tough when you're a beginner web designer because the bar is so low to start out. Essentially, anyone can start out in web design and sell a website. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just don't be afraid to go do stuff, go try stuff, go fail. Especially if you're going to try things for yourself, it's okay to fail every once in a while. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as you're going about it in a logical way and you're not putting your clients at risk for mistakes you could make, put yourself at risk, right? Maybe embarrass yourself a little bit. It's okay. Go hustle a little bit. It's also important when you meet a client and as you start working with the client to learn green flags and red flags. There are certain things where they might say where you can kind of tell if they might be a good client or a bad client, and it's not 100%. You know, everyone runs into clients where they think that they're going to be an awesome client and then they just kind of turn out to be really difficult to work with, and vice versa. So what I recommend you do is just pull out a notebook as you're starting out and just write down your interactions with clients. Write down your thoughts. Okay, I feel good about this. I'm not so sure about this. They said this and I feel like that might come back to bite us later on. And as you go through more experiences with clients, you'll probably be able to just subconsciously tell green flags and red flags. And at this point, I've got a whole list of green flags and red flags. And so writing these things down can just help you process these things a lot more. And on that front, I would also recommend keep a journal. It can even be a video journal. I know a lot of people don't like to write these days. I personally do, but if you don't like to write, open up a YouTube channel, just keep all your videos private. And at the end of the week, just speak about a couple things you did well, speak about a couple things you didn't do well, and then a couple things you want to focus on for the next week. And it's just a way to not just go through the motions, but help you, again, process what's actually happening and help you make progress as the weeks go on, so you're not just kind of dozing by. The next thing I would tell myself is copy so you don't have to copy. And so what I mean by that is when you're starting out, to get better, just go copy what other people are doing. Do not use these on client websites. Use these for just yourself, that you're just sharing with yourself. You're not sharing this publicly because you don't want to go around copying other people's websites, because people don't take that too well. But you're copying other people's websites so that you can get better at the skills yourself. There are certain best practices and expectations that people have on websites. And once you know those, anyone who knows me knows I'm not a huge fan of the word best practice, because what if the best practice is wrong? But once you know those, now you can deviate them and make them better, right? You know what the clients in this arena are going to expect and what users expect, right? There's certain container widths that users expect. There's certain padding widths that users expect, certain functionality with nav bars that users expect. But once you know those, you can know how far you can or are able to deviate without breaking the trust of users on websites. And so start by copying so that later on, you don't have to copy, but you can kind of use the skills that you learned over here to take them and make them the websites that you're building a lot better. Now, we are serving people when we are building websites, and I didn't think about it like that. If in your mind, you're just thinking, I'm gonna build a website for this company, you're probably gonna run into issues and your client isn't gonna be as satisfied at the end of the day. And so a good way to think about it is, I am serving people. Yes, you're serving companies, but the companies are made of people. And so if your mindset is as a servant, as someone who is trying to help a company and solve problems and solutions for them, they're probably going to be a lot happier as time goes on. And I've noticed that in my business. I'm not just selling websites, right? I don't write on my website, hey, buy a website for me. No, I am here as an ally, as a partner for you for whatever journey your company is going through. I want to come alongside you and actually help with that. I want to help you grow so you get more revenue. I want to help bring on more employees so that you can either grow the business and make more money and help more people yourself, or so that you can have a buyout and sell the company later on. That's the best way I found to think about this. The last thing, not a lot of people talk about it, but becoming better as a copywriter is going to help you become a better web designer. And I haven't put my finger exactly on why that is. There's just something about becoming a better copywriter that helps, not necessarily with the copywriting itself, but just helps you process how you're going to design the website and how users are going to think about the messaging on the website, even as you create graphics and things of that nature. And so I don't even do copywriting for my clients. Oftentimes I'll put filler copy on there, and sometimes, you know, a good portion of it might get used, but in reality, I let the clients focus on the copy. It's more so I get better at copy. Yes, so I can have better messaging for my own company to my clients, but also just because it helps me process things and helps me logically think through things and helps me connect things in my mind as I'm designing. I hope this video is helpful for you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.